All right, welcome back to Piggy's Picks. We are continuing our boots on the ground activities, and we are in the neighborhood with a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine. Side note, get out into your community network. You never know who has what, how many of your friends are collecting, who's interested in the hobby. There's more of us out there. But he has graciously opened up his home to kind of show us his collection, walk us through his collection. He's a huge Marvel Legend collector, Mr. Kevin M. And we will get started. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate you having us.
Glad to be here, Pete.
All right, so let's get started. If you don't mind, how long have you been collecting?
Technically, maybe since like 7, 8 years old. But that's not necessarily reflected totally in the collection because as a kid, I used to visit my father in Chicago during the summer. So that's how him and my mom rotated,
Shots out.
So how they rotated custody. So I would go to Chicago. My dad was a salesman, so I'd be in the truck with him selling, and I had a picture downstairs I can show you of that, which is interesting. And then, but it was boring as a kid because as an adult, you're making money. As a kid, you're like, why am I not playing? Why am I not, doing something fun? So the reward was taking me to Toys R Us, yes, back in those days, and get me a figure, So, and it just built from there and enjoyed it. Then I stopped for a while in college and then gave my brother a lot of my more, vintage ones, which I regret doing that because he didn't have the love for it that I did. So then I actually kind of started back up, I would say a little before the pandemic, maybe like 2 years prior to the pandemic. So I started collecting, and so it grew kind of very fast.
And he, as you'll see, he's amassed a lot in that little bit of time. The pandemic was like circa 2021. We're just starting 24, and you'll see that he was about that business. So you kind of took care of my second question when I was going to ask what got you into the hobby. So you kind of said it was your dad and those rewards, his trips to Toys R Us. So you collect Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
So that's the theme of your collection. Can you tell us why Marvel Legends? Why not DC, Transformers? What about Marvel Legends kind of spoke to you?
So I guess I, like a lot of 80s babies, 90s kids, loved X-Men the animated series. So
Oh yeah.
looking forward to the X-Men 97. So
70s babies loved it too.
right. So I love X-Men. So that was my favorite. And then of course Spider-Man, that that animated. Then I went back and started looking at the old retro Hulks. I love Hulk. So Marvel just drew my attention more. DC had a darker side to it that wasn't necessarily bad, but it really didn't interest me at the time. And my personality, I'm bubbly as it gets. So positive, light. Marvel has always seemed to have more fun, brighter colored. While DC was Dark Knight and Superman,
broody,
right? Superman lost his parents, and then he kind of, whole planet blew up. It was all these, however you have Spider-Man bit by a spider, X-Men born different than other people. That story can go there down that lane.
They didn't get their powers from tragedy and trauma.
It was
they
more
got
so
it
from
from
a positive
being
experience.
attacked by animals and falling in the gamma rays.
Bit by insects, mistakenly messed around with some gamma rays. There's things that just turned out to better their life, even if it felt like a struggle or even if they were hated for it. So then, of course, the whole theme of X-Men with discrimination and all of that just really aligned as a black man in America. So all those things just kind of came together, and I leaned more towards that. So yeah, it was just more fun for me, I guess. I didn't want to be sad for my superheroes. I wanted to, enjoy the creativity of the imagination.
I dig it. I love it. I love Marvel. I'm that rare guy, just like you mentioned Chicago. I'm both a Cubs and a Sox fan. I'm both a Marvel and a DC fan. I like Transformers and GoBots.
I love the DC movies now. DC movies, they hit.
Yeah, and they have a good animated universe. Like the DC animations are next level. They can't be messed with. So you talked about kind of like the positive feelings that you get from the Marvel characters that you collect. Let's talk about another side of the hobby that we all experience, and that's some of the headaches or the pain points. What about the hobby maybe frustrates you or is your least favorite aspect of collecting?
I love the creativity that the producers, Hasbro, which is primarily the figures I have put into it. I think, so I love seeing when they come out with this new, when I first started collecting, and even now sometimes what used to bother me a lot is when scalpers, or those who are buying and selling for 3 times as much as it just came out a couple of months. Probably, I think it put a stain on the process and the fun, this, for lack of a better word, of finding figures, and finding, that hard to find figure. Okay, yeah, I have it, but I'll sell it to you for 60, even though it's just on sale last week for 25. It felt more predatory than it did inclusive and let's enjoy this hobby together. So that's probably one of my biggest pain points. I hate, now granted, of course, if you're looking for a hard to find figure, there is an element of it being, higher value. But to just mark something up because
the skullduggery,
yeah, right, yeah. It's just like, what are you doing, and it kills the whole thing. The other day I was online and someone was giving away a few baths that they had, the Build-A-Figure parts that come with Hasbro, just because, hey, if anybody needs this extra arm, I have it. To me, that's what the collecting community should be more about. I love that side of it versus, I have this extra arm that I know I don't even need.
Shared interest.
I know I don't need this extra arm, but I'll sell it to you for $50, even though I have no need for it in my current collection, So that stuff is just crazy to me.
We're addicts, so that $50.
Now it does go a long way. Now that is true.
Yeah,
I rather connect with people over the collecting hobby, while some folks. And, I get the money-making aspect. I'm a businessman. I'm outside of this as well. But I think it should be a mixture. And
put the heart into it.
Yeah, so, that's my thing. But I even, I'll show you, surely, I even like supporting customizers who make figures that they don't sell, that Hasbro hasn't gotten to yet. I've supported customizers who's made figures for me, and then literally a month later Hasbro comes out with the official version. So, but I'm still never remorseful for supporting that, because that is what the hobby should be about.
And yours is going to be different from the one that everybody else has. Exactly. So that's the plus. Yeah. So you kind of talked about that camaraderie and, I have an extra weapon, an extra arm, a swap out portrait. I'll share it with the other collectors. So for either young collectors, and not even necessarily young, but I'll say newer collectors coming into the hobby, what advice do you have for them?
I would say find what you enjoy, find a team. The way I started, I would collect and try to build teams. I still kind of do it now. Like, I get excited when Hasbro puts out a figure that completed the team that I was looking, and that's why I would go to customizers, because they would build a figure that was not out because that completed the team. So complete a team, start that way, and, do your research, find figures that you like. Find ones that you just love because of what that character means to you, because you're going to be looking at it all day or however long. You're going to have it posted up. Get something that is just not popular amongst everybody else who's collecting. Get something that you particularly like, that you're seeing, like, I just like the way this figure's built. Hasbro just came out with a new Namor that I... Namor. I've been pronouncing this name wrong for years.
No, I'm joking. No, it's been Namor until he entered the MCU.
Every time I say it, I'm like, I don't think that's how you're supposed to say it. But Namor's figure, it's amazing. I'm looking at it now. I mean, it's like Hasbro put their foot in that thing. Like, it's really good. And I didn't expect it. So now I'm excited about where I pose and having it out. That to me is what makes the hobby exciting. So find figures that you like, that you're excited about, build teams so you can kind of see it cohesively coming together. At least that's how my brain works.
Are you able to mix and match in between teams? Like, I have the X-Force X-Men. I don't want to do a custom. They don't have an X-Force Jubilee, but they have a Island of Krakoa Jubilee. The comic book people, don't kill me. These are just examples. I know she's not on the island, or she wasn't initially. But are you able to grab a character from this team, or do it has to be a purist? Like, if this is the X-Force team, it has to be the X-Force members.
Yeah,
and I can
the latter. Yeah, and this is probably my slight OCD. I have to see order and form. And if I have someone wearing, the Jim Lee version versus the Grant Morrison, I'm like, they don't go together. What are you doing? I'd rather have Jubilee just be by herself, than have it mixing. So, yeah, and as we go through, you'll see that theme consistently through, where it is the team for that era, that time, that artist, that comic line that came out. That's what everyone looked like in that line. Yeah, that's really important. And as you're saying, I didn't realize how much important that is.
I'm the same way. That's why I asked, because I can't just have, if it doesn't look like it's gonna go together, I'm gonna eventually end up moving it or anyway, it'll kind of start a trickle down effect where it's like, that's not the Jubilee I wanted. Let me get a custom Jubilee that I wanted. But I want to keep this one, so now let me get the rest of the team that goes with this one, and now you're down the rabbit hole.
A good example is Rachel Summers. They had a Rachel Summers Toy Biz. I have a few of those. But it was a Rachel Summers from a different comic line, not the one that's an Excalibur team, which we believe Hasbro is going to put out the Rachel Summers Excalibur Phoenix with the red suit and the spikes and all that.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. So I had to customize and make one just because it completes the Excalibur team that they gave us 3/4 of it.
So now you mentioned Namor. Is he your? Well, I won't presume. Tell me who's your favorite character and what's your favorite piece that you have. They don't have to be one and the same.
Okay, Storm is definitely the favorite character.
Okay.
And I will like left and right have customizers, and I will purchase every. One of my goals is to actually go back and get some retro Storms and some vintage Storms figures that I used to own before, giving them to my little brother. So and then combine just having a Storm. There's a few collectors online who I've seen do that. It's so cool. They have like Storm throughout the ages from the 80s all the way to
I have a couple.
Yeah.
And then you got the Mohawk version, so that's all. I mean, you winning already with the Mohawk version.
I love the Mohawk version. Yeah, absolutely.
And then what's your favorite piece out of all the pieces that you have? Which one is your favorite?
That is hard. And I thought about that question knowing that we were doing this today, and I'm like, which one? I'm looking at it now to see if I can narrow down. Gosh, I don't know if I have a favorite.
Okay,
you know what? I do.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's the same character, so it is Storm. So this is from the Toy Biz line. So it's not even Hasbro. So this is the Storm from the Toy Biz line. Oh gosh, I forget where. I want to say, is this the Onslaught time period? But yeah, so I had her with hair and without hair.
Love it.
So, I loved this.
She
Storm.
got the
literally, when I gave my figures away, she wasn't going anywhere. So
she got the little T-bars, semi
right, little T-bars.
Yeah,
I couldn't understand this hairdo, but it worked for her because it gave you the flowy, but I gave you short. So I'm gonna let you hold these. So, but I wanted those are like maybe 5-inch. Hasbro's are 6-inch, so I had a customizer make one to replicate this one.
Oh, this one's dope.
Yeah, so this guy's in
I
Hungary.
like the cape.
I'll give you his handle later, but yes, so he made a version that, and I've seen other customizers do it, but I wanted the same figure, more of a adaptable size.
The portrait is dope too because like she's got that mouth open, that in combat ready expression on her face.
Yeah, and the cool thing with a good customizer would take tips too, because there were some things I wanted him to adjust before he mailed it out because he's all the way in Hungary, and he did, and was patient and did everything I asked. And
this looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Not that it's more well, he's very reasonable. But some customizers are,
I know
they can get pricey. So,
well, I'll have you
so this is probably my favorite if I had to put a favorite on there.
Thank you, sir. I'll have you walk us through in a moment, but I wanted to ask. I see you have a card out. Is this part of your whole like setup, your process? Tell us about the card.
So as much as I am OCD, it was getting collecting. As you know, you have a full-time job, you can get behind. So I was when I post the figures, I usually don't put their accessories on them unless it's integral to their character. So the accessories were going into this bucket, if you would, and it was just like, okay, I can't keep track. So I would put them in little plastics like these, but I couldn't keep track because I didn't know what went to it. I was trying to keep the hands together, the weapon together.
I know what those are used for. I'm from Chicago.
So, I got these from a legitimate supplier, by the way, to be clear.
I'm joking.
This is legitimate, regular plastics. But so what I've started doing is, I didn't start it, so I didn't do this all the time. So I have a few that's not this organized this way, but. Since I don't really keep the packaging unless I don't want to open it like some of these you see on the wall, I would cut a piece of the picture of that character and then put in the bag with it. So now I know if I want to look at this years later, this character, these are his hands, right?
Oh, that's dope.
So yes,
I did very organized.
And I did unboxing recently, which is why my desk is flooded with figures that recently came out. Here's a Namor that I love.
Not to cut you off, but really, you even have the labels on the Tupperware on the storage boxes, like Fantastic Four, Avengers, Spider-Man. You're really organized. X-Men.
So yeah, I did that intentionally to have it separated by, because most of my characters are one of the major teams. And then if it's X-Men, but say if it was an X-Force person, I put it with the X-Men. So I put that on there. You know, that was me trying to be jazzy. And then kind of visually, I can just sort quickly, and that helped me kind of get this maybe about an hour and a half. I was done, and this is, you know, a lot of figures to do that for. So I have a Marvel. I didn't. So funny enough, we talked about, you know, hobby or just like your passion or favorites. I didn't want to do Marvel Studios or MCU. I was like comics only, not collecting anything from the movies, because then I would go down a rabbit hole that I can't come back up. And
all it
that
takes
last
is
too
one.
long. Right, all it took was one. Exactly. So, so I have on my wall my 3 favorite MCU movies, and so then the one, to your point, that got me was right. And the one that got me was X-Men of 2000. Right, I was there the first day it opened. I was by myself in the movie theater, just going in, and I was so excited to see my characters finally come to the movie screen. So I had the Storm forever, and then I said, okay, I wanted all of the characters. So I found a person on eBay who had them all boxed for the most. Not every. There's still a couple of variants missing, but for the most part, those are all the characters. And I had that under the movie poster. That grew to Black Panther, and I was like, okay, well, if I have X-Men, maybe I need to have
Fantastic Four.
And it blew. So Black Panther now. You have Avengers Endgame, my favorite, I think, MCU movie is Endgame. And then I had to get all the characters for us. And then so my no MCU rule was quickly broken. And then I liked the Fantastic Four movie they came out with Jessica Alba, I think it was. And
is that when Mike Jordan was her brother?
No, that was another one that was a hot mess.
Is that the one with Chris Evans? No.
Yes, it's Chris Evans. Yes, with Chris Evans was a Human Torch. So they came out with 2 of them. One was a Silver Surfer. Was on the second one. I like the guy who played Doom. I just thought it was it was pretty good comic book movie, especially for that time. Not like, you know, it's not an end game, but by all means, I thought it was pretty good. So that's how that stretched out and got to that point.
Cause I gotta tell you, I'm in love with like your Sentinel pieces, and that Galactus or Galacticus, as our community calls him. That Galactus is amazing, and all the proximity pieces, I love it all. And since you're already kind of showing an overview, I'm gonna let you walk us through, give us an overview of your collection.
Okay, cool.
I'll leave it to you.
All right, so talked about X-Men, of course, my first love movie. So have the figures that go with that. I liked them, but I also wanted to be displayed out. So I, again, broke another rule of mine and said, okay, I'm just gonna have these, but I didn't want to open these. So I ended up buying them loose from eBay. So it's almost like a duplication. But I really like when Hasbro revisited a few of the movie pieces, such as Mystique and Logan. So I added that to the Toy Biz line figures. And of course, Black Panther, love it. Great movie. One and both of them, the first and second one's amazing. So I have figures from both movies. I start out with just first, and I say, okay, let me do both. 1 and 2. And then Avengers Endgame, talked about that. Yeah, I kind of went ham on this. But all these, like most of these, not all, but most of these are bought from sellers online who had reasonable pricing that, you know, that I was able to find. So, and then some are brand new too, so kind of a mix. And then I started here and ended up here. So funny enough, I said these were going to be the only Avengers on the wall that I was going to have. And then I said, screw it.
You cleverly found a way. That's one thing in this hobby. You find ways to consolidate space, and you always find room for more. I used to tell people, I don't have room for this. And they say, yeah, you do. And I figured, yeah.
I have figures literally balancing on, I don't know if the house shook a little bit, they made us all come down, I don't know, but literally are balancing. And then, of course, Hasbro's the Sentinel and the Galactic, which was part of their crowdfunding efforts. They tried to do a Ghost Rider that didn't work out too well. But they have a new Ant-Man coming out, same crowdfunding type project, and that is 3 feet, so it's not going to be as big as here. So maybe I think it's shorter than 3 feet actually. I know it's shorter than the Sentinel, so it may be big enough to fit on the wall. We shall see. And then if I had some of the heralds came with Galactus, such as Silver Surfer, and these boys here, and then I said, okay, I need to get more. So I have all the heralds, even when Thor was a herald. I did that.
Get a quick shot of them Golden Girls. We not going.
Then, thank you for being a friend. You have to have the Golden Girls. That's a must.
That's my show, man.
I'm telling you, I literally watch it way more than I probably should. It's a staple in this home. And then you have the wall. So, where do I start? So, up here are the motorcycles figures, and they had a line where each figure kind of had a motorcycle. It came out different times. I don't know much of the history behind it, but I love the look. So they have the Vengeance cap, have the Wolverine. That one is probably the oldest up there. They have the Black Widow motorcycle, Yelena, who actually I think that one's custom, so it's not even a Yelena that to sell in stores. Another Wolverine motorcycle, Ghost Rider, Squirrel Girl, and then Deadpool, and then the Cosmic Ghost Rider up there. And this is probably one of the flaws of the room for me, is that the villains are all squished over here and not easy to see coming in, so probably will change the configuration later on. But this is my villain wall, if you would. I'll get out your way if you want to see that.
It looks so good, man.
Thank you.
I would just, with my OCD, I think my only apprehension, when it's dusting day, I know that's like a full day, or you probably got to block your calendar off.
Listen, dusting day.
Unless you do it in sections, or
we blow it.
Okay.
So I just use the blower for right now, but you're right. Inevitably, eventually I will have to pull them out and do a full dusting, but I've gotten away with the blower for now. So I think one of my favorite Marvel sets is the Hellfire Club set. That is just amazing to me. I think they did a really good job there. With the Reavers, with Lady Deathstrike, you see there's most of the customs there. I'm sorry, some of my lighting is a little off. So the starting point for this wall mostly was here. The X-Men, circa the 1970s with the Dark Phoenix saga. So that's what this is, and I hate that there's not a light in there, so hopefully it's bright enough to see it. And then I went to the classic X-Men 90, the 1990s show, and then they came out, and I'm not sure if you can see all the way up there, it's maybe tilting forward, with the X-Men cell shaded version that was a tribute to the 1990s show. So as you see, the purple and blue Apocalypse and Mystique and Sinister and Dark Phoenix and all that up there. So then I bought a few Sentinels and all that. So not gonna go through each one, but nonetheless, this is kind of the concept. I try to put my big boys on top because they take so much space, and then have the teams here. So X-Men, X-Force. Someone did this Storm online, and I loved it. It was really cool. I had a customizer who I bought a lot of my figures teams from. I'll give you his handle later on as well, who repainted it because I jacked it up. And then Fantastic Four, several iterations of that through Hasbro, Avengers. A combination of more Iron Man because my Iron Man setup up there has exploded. So a little combination of Iron Man and other Avenger characters. This is my West Coast Avengers square with the Young Avengers combination. Bought a ton of figures online from that. This is probably the most recent, the Krakoan X-Men era that you'll see in here. A couple of different iterations of Magneto and Hope and a few of those characters there. And here is probably close to the Grant Morrison X-Men period, plus the original X-Men in the back. And then X-Factor and Gen X. So this is interesting. So I had a customizer. He did a few of my Gen X folks. You'll see some duplicates because this is one that he did of Monet. It's pretty good. And then this is the official one from Hasbro of Monet. So, and then another customizer online actually took the Hasbro Monet, took some of her pieces and created another sync. So I have two syncs. I have a couple of duplications just because I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted to keep. Pride and Joy, the Ultimate X-Men. So I think as an adult, I love the Ultimate X-Men line. And I think it's probably one of my favorite customs because they don't sell these in the store. So I had a guy make all of these customs. They have a few they sell. Like this is the Ultimate X-Men Iceman that they sell in the store. This is the custom. And you'll see it, the two Wolverines back there, same deal. Love this Ultimate X-Men Storm. I will probably topple them all over if I try to grab it. He made an Ultimate X-Men Rogue. I have this on my Instagram site, ML Addict. So I'll give you that handle as well. Just love it. Probably my favorite square, honestly. So then you have the more Galaxy folks, such as Guardians of the Galaxy, the 2 movies that they came out with, some Nova folks there, some Inhumans. And that's probably my second favorite square, which would be Age of Apocalypse. Oh my goodness. Age of Apocalypse, where maybe 50% of these or 60% of these came out as official lines, and the other percentage are all customs. So, but I just had to get as many characters as possible from that line. That's cool.
Yeah, those blades down there are dope.
Yes. Yeah, one of them is brand new that just came out. This one here with Hasbro. Got some Hulk, mixture with Hulk and Captain America. That's a whole list mix there. Then if you go down, you'll see the Spider-Man. I have tons of Spider-Man. I love the symbiotes. I don't know what it is about the symbiote figures, but I had to have them all. So the symbiotes at the very bottom under the main Spider-Man one. And then going up back to Spider-Man to the left, you'll see my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Had to have my Isaac do the first Super Soldier. Had to have him on there. The brother loved it.
I started to wear that shirt today. I literally had
it. That's from a customizer online. Then I have my Defender square, which is your Daredevil and your
like Jessica Jones.
Thank you. Jessica Jones
Luke Cage.
And Luke Cage. I have the Netflix version next to the comic version, next to the retro version. And then I added Blade in there as well. Then I have some New Warriors next to Deadpool. Don't know actually why I have those together, but New Warriors of Deadpool next to Cloak and Dagger. This one I hope Hasbro comes out with, but my guy in Hungary, he did a great job doing a Celia Rise. Rays, I'm saying it right. And Marrow. Love Marrow. His stuff is just so clean. I love how clean his customs are. That's really important. If I get a custom, it needs to be a real clean looking one. My tried and true customizer goes by Pio. I'm going to jack his name up, so I'm not even going to jack his handle up. But he did the whole Mutant X line, which is a line a lot of people don't talk about much, but I thought it was so cool when Havoc went to an alternate reality and led an X-Men type team. Bloodstorm and Iceman. You have Brute, and so it's kind of cool. They basically kind of did the line over. This is a mixture of a whole bunch of figures that are kind of a what they call a kit bash, where you kind of move some heads around and so forth. They have like Buffy the Vampire Slayer there next to a Toy Biz Storm, next to a makeshift Joseph. It's crazy. This is a weird mix. I think I'm going to put my What If figures there.
Because it's bothering your OCD.
It is, because it's a weird mix. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing in this area.
It's a placeholder for now.
Pretty much. This is Wolverine with some Black Panther, more Black Panther from the comic book line. Some more villains. So this bottom area here, which is another from a visual perspective, drives me nuts because you can't see this clearly. Which is why we're going to talk about some different layouts. But so yeah. Hope that wasn't too exhaustive, but here's my folks. Awesome. Did a major unboxing this weekend, so I'm gonna try to find some room for my new 3 Spider-Men from the Spider-Man No Way Home.
I like that Bishop, man.
Yeah, that's from the new X-Men 97 cartoon that's coming out, where they're gonna pick up from where they left off with the X-Men. So they have the first wave. I told myself I was gonna wait, but I didn't. So
was I with you when you got that?
We talked about it.
Yeah,
we were at the
at Charlie's.
Charlie's, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm gonna buy them. And then I waited. I said, no, let me get them, because now they just introduced what Wave 2 looks like, which is gonna be dumb, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. So even the colors on that Vision, man.
Yeah, they just did their good work with it. I mean, I was taken back by that wave. I didn't think I was gonna like it when Namor and Vision and Power Woman. I mean, I just. Justice, like I love this figure. I barely know the character. He's on New Warriors, Justice, but just it's built so well.
So we talk about alternate realities and things of that nature, and it could be me, but I think I'm looking at a Wonder Woman.
And a lot of folks are comparing the two. There's a lot of similarities.
I didn't see behind the shield.
Yeah, but she's
so
facing where it's Power Woman or something like that, and which is really bad that I'm buying figures I don't know much about. But she's part of the. Hope your followers don't kill me for this. Start with an S, and I'm totally missing it. Okay, it's gonna hit me later. But yeah, she's part of the team with Justice and a few others that have there.
Yeah, from this angle, well, that's one. Even down to like her headband and everything.
So what customizers are doing?
Oh,
they're taking her and they're making it Wonder Woman. So I've seen a few of those already online. Is it Squadron Supreme? Squadron something. I'm gonna get butchered for that one. But
it's gonna come to you at 3:00.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's the name of that team.
Google is cheating. You gotta remember it now.
I gotta remember. I want to say it's like two S's. I'm trying to put them together, but I just think that's just. I mean, the figure is a very well done, great articulation. A lot of customizers complain about Hasbro and quality, and don't get me wrong, sometimes there are some quality issues. Like this guy here, Nighthawk. Liked him, but his arm broke off as I was trying to unpack him. So
but that can, in fairness, that can happen with the licensed companies as
absolutely,
well.
Absolutely. So so sometimes you get a quality issue, but for the most part, I enjoy it. I feel like the hobby is not fun if you don't.
You gotta enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, take a break, come back, recalibrate, take a different approach. Well, listen, I know this is a work day. We're all just getting off. I appreciate you opening up your home. I appreciate you showing everyone out there your collection.
Yeah, no problem.
Let us know how to find you and I'm gonna post the name of the custom artist that he mentioned, as well as all of his information, but on the video.
And I'm so sorry because I'm trying to.
I believe it's ML_addict.
I know I should know my own name.
727, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. ML_. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm gonna end that one out. ML_addict 727. And I'll give you the other handles for the customizers because they're great and they do great work. And
thank you so much. Everybody, check him out. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know. And if you're ever in the Georgia area, we kind of hang out at the spot that I've been telling you guys about, Charlie's. You may catch us there on a Sunday. So come on out. Again, major shout out to Mr. Kevin, Mr. ML Addict 727.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, sir.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.